My loving audience take my love and subscribes my channel. And dive B&B stories. Have you ever had that feeling where you just know a soap opera secret is about to explode and change everything we thought we knew about the canvas? Well, get ready, because The Bold and the Beautiful is about to drop a psychological nuke, right in the middle of the Spencer family. We've all been watching this slow burn drama with Melissa Dillon, and honestly, doesn't it feel like there's a giant shadow hanging over her every move? The newest spoilers are hinting at a twist that is so classic, yet so messy, that it might just be the best thing the writers have done in years. We are talking about the possibility that Dylan's mysterious mother, the one she's been hiding from, is actually one of Liam Spencer's many famous ex-girlfriends. Just stop for a second and think about the fallout of that reveal. If Liam realizes that the girl his younger brother is falling for is the daughter of a woman he once loved, his head is going to spin faster than a Forrester runway show. This isn't just a coincidence. It's a legacy trap that could rewrite the entire history of the Spencer Beach house. Let's really break down what's happening with Dylan right now, because her life is basically a walking tragedy that no one in Ella seems to notice. She's played by Sydney Bullock, and for a while, she was just the nice girl helping out with the kids. But then we found out the truth. She was actually homeless and living out of her car. Can you even imagine the shame and the pressure she must be feeling? She told Will that she wanted to be a teacher, but the housing crisis and the cost of tuition in Los Angeles basically crushed her dreams. And here is the kicker, she hasn't told her mother a single thing about it. Why? Because her mom has this idealized California dream for her, and Dylan doesn't want to be the one to break it. This tells us so much about her mother's personality. Whoever this woman is, she expects perfection, and Dylan is terrified of failing her. Does that sound like anyone we know from Liam's past? Maybe someone a bit high-strung or someone who had a very public fall from grace. The funny thing is, Dylan is trying so hard to be good, but she's already causing absolute chaos without even trying. Have you seen the way Electra Forrester is reacting to her? It is pure unadulterated jealousy. Electra called Dylan a bitch to her face after Dylan finally confessed that she was in love with Will. It was one of those moments where you just want to reach through the screen and tell them to calm down, but also you don't want the drama to stop. Electra thinks Dylan has been stalking Will and secretly waiting for Electra to fail so she could swoop in. But is that really what's happening? Or is Dylan just a girl who found a safe harbor with Will when she literally had nowhere else to sleep? Psychologically, Dylan is attaching herself to Will because he represents the stability she lost. He's her life raft, and Electra is just the person standing in the way of her survival. But now we have to talk about Liam, the man, the myth, the legendary waffler himself. Liam has a list of exes longer than the Forrester designer list. He's been with Hope, Steffi, Ivy, and even Amber Moore. If Dylan's mom is an ex-girlfriend, it means Liam has a ghost coming back to haunt him. Imagine Liam walking into the beach house and seeing a woman from 10 years ago standing there, looking at him with that, "You haven't changed a bit" look. It would be the ultimate reality check for a guy who tries so hard to be the hero of every story. He's always the one rescuing women, but what if he's the reason this mother and daughter are so messed up? If it's someone like Amber Moore, who we know was always a bit of a loose cannon, the drama would be off the charts. Or what if it's a woman he met while he was Adam and had amnesia? The possibilities are making me wish we could skip ahead to next week right now. Let's look at the actual spoilers for the week of August 3rd. Because they are giving us some serious clues. Katie Logan is starting to grow very suspicious. Now we know Katie has a Logan intuition that usually doesn't miss. She's going to have an intense first encounter with Dylan. Why is Katie the one getting involved? Maybe because she knows the Spencer men better than anyone. She's seen how women can manipulate them, but she also knows when someone is hiding a family secret. When Katie looks at Dylan, does she see a familiar face? If Dylan is the daughter of an ex, Katie might be the first one to put the pieces together. I predict Katie is going to find a photo or a piece of jewelry that links Dylan to a very specific person from Liam's past. And when that truth comes out, the heartbreaking impasse between Will and Electra is going to look like a tiny speed bump compared to the explosion that's coming. And what about Will? Poor Will is standing in the middle of this firestorm trying to be a good guy like his brother, but he's making the same mistakes. He's defending Dylan because he thinks she's innocent, but he's also hurting Electra in the process. He literally told Electra to stop attacking Dylan. Can you imagine how much that had to sting? Electra feels like she's being replaced by her own best friend, and Will is just confused. This is classic Spencer behavior. Getting distracted by a new, shiny, vulnerable woman while the one you're actually with is left in the dust. Is Will really in love with Dylan? Or does he just like the way she looks at him like he saved her? It's a power trip, whether he realizes it or not. He's playing the hero role, and Dylan is the perfect damsel in distress to feed that ego. The psychological layer here is so deep it's practically a cavern. Dylan is desperate for a home, Electra is desperate for status, and Will is desperate to be seen as different from his father, Bill. But the more he tries to be nice, the more he ends up acting exactly like a Spencer. And then you have the mother. If she's Liam's ex, she's the one who probably told Dylan all these stories about the California dream and the glamour of Los Angeles. Maybe she wanted Dylan to go back and claim the life she never got to have with Liam. It turns Dylan from a victim into a legacy villain in training. Is she actually falling for Will? Or is she carrying out a plan her mother started years ago? If she's Diana Marone like some fans think, then she's literally Sheila Carter's daughter. Can you imagine the terror in LA if Sheila has a mini-me working at Forrester? Speaking of Sheila, she's heading to Monaco because she found out where Steffi is. This Monaco mayhem is the perfect backdrop for the secrets exploding in LA. While Steffi and Finn are dealing with unexpected turbulence, which we know is code for Sheila-induced chaos, the Spencers are falling apart at home. It's a classic soap move to have a big, beautiful location shoot, while the real gritty drama is happening in the design office. I agree with the fans who think the Monaco trip is just a distraction. The real story is Dylan. The real story is the girl in the car who might just be a Spencer by proxy. Who do you think Dylan's mother is? Have you ever felt like a secret was just sitting there, waiting to blow up and change everything you thought you knew about a show? Well, get ready, because things in Los Angeles are about to get very, very messy for the Spencer family. We've all been watching Melissa Dylan lately, and honestly, doesn't it feel like there's a giant shadow hanging over her every move? Everyone is asking the same big question. Who on earth is Dylan's mother? We know Dylan is hiding something huge from her, claiming she doesn't want to ruin the California dream her mom has for her. But let's be real here. In a place like this, a dream is usually just a fancy word for a nightmare that's about to walk through the front door and start screaming. I've been looking at the clues and the history, and I think we are looking at a trap that's going to force Liam Spencer to face a part of his life he thought was dead and buried. Let's really talk about what's going on with Dylan, because her life is basically a walking tragedy that the rich people in LA just can't see. She isn't just some random girl who happened to get a job watching kids. She was literally living out of her car, struggling with the housing crisis, and feeling like a total failure. Why did she keep all of that from her mother? She told Will it was because her mom has this perfect image of her success in her head. But if you think about it, that sounds like a daughter who is absolutely terrified of being judged. This mother isn't just a parent. She's a force that Dylan feels she has to perform for every single day. When you think about the people we've seen over the years, who else has that kind of intense, almost scary expectation of legacy? It points right to someone who has been a part of the high-stakes world of fashion or media before. The funny thing about Dylan's innocent act is how easily it works on the Spencer men. Seriously, haven't we seen this movie a dozen times already? Will is basically doing exactly what his older brothers did, falling for the girl in trouble, because it makes him feel like a hero. But while Will is busy playing savior, Katie Logan is starting to realize something is wrong. Katie has a kind of radar for lies that usually never misses a beat. The latest info says she's going to have an intense encounter with Dylan very soon. I truly believe Katie is the only one in that house with her eyes open right now. She's looking at Dylan and seeing a ghost, a reflection of someone she used to know. And that is where the real explosion is going to happen. There's a theory that a lot of fans are buzzing about, and it's a wild one. Could Dylan actually be Diana Marone? If you remember your soap history, Diana is the daughter of Sheila Carter and Massimo Marone. Just think about the psychological weight of having Sheila Carter as your mother. It would explain everything about why Dylan is so weirdly secretive. The fake names, the hiding, the desperate need for people to think she's sweet. She's not just running from her mom. She's trying to outrun her own blood. If this is true, that California dream she keeps talking about isn't about being a teacher. It's an escape plan to get away from the most dangerous woman in the world. I agree with the people who think this ties perfectly into the chaos happening in Monaco. While Sheila is busy hunting Steffi across the ocean, her daughter might be right here, slowly taking over the Spencer family from the inside. But then there's the theory that brings everything right back to Liam. Some people are convinced that Dylan's mom is actually one of Liam's famous ex-girlfriends. Think about the list of women Liam has bounced between over the years. Could it be someone like Amber Moore? We know Amber is the queen of using kids to get what she wants from powerful families. If Dylan is Amber's daughter, she was raised by a woman who knows exactly how to manipulate a Spencer. The psychology of that is just fascinating because it turns Dylan into a human weapon. Amber was always treated like an outsider, and sending her daughter in to take the Spencer legacy for herself is exactly the kind of move she would make. I think an Amber Moore reveal would be absolute genius. It would force Liam to look at the mess he left behind and realize his mistakes are now coming for his younger brother. Think about the way Dylan finally told Will she loved him. It wasn't some sweet romantic moment. It was a tactical strike. She waited until she was backed into a corner by Electra, and then she used the truth to make Will feel like he had to protect her. Electra was totally right to call her a bitch in that moment, even if it sounded mean. Electra is a Forrester. She understands how people play the social game in LA. She sees that poor little Dylan is actually a very smart predator who managed to turn a Spencer against a Forrester in record time. In my opinion, Electra isn't the bad guy here. She's being gaslit by a pro. Dylan is using her own sadness as a shield, and Will is just falling for it without asking any questions. The tension is building up to a massive fight, and I don't think anyone is ready for it. While Steffi and Finn are dealing with drama on their way to Monaco, the real storm is hitting the beach house. Wyatt is about to find out about Will's mysterious guest staying over. Now, Wyatt has always been the one Spencer who actually uses his brain. He's going to see the red flags that Will is totally ignoring. If Wyatt and Liam start talking, they're going to realize Dylan didn't just show up by accident. She was put there for a reason. Remember that Marone situation that RJ mentioned to Electra? He specifically said they weren't blood relatives because of that history. Why would the writers bring that up now if they weren't going to introduce a new Marone? It feels like they are leaving a trail of breadcrumbs for us to follow. If Dylan is a Marone, it changes everything about who holds the power in the show. It gives the Spencers a link to the Forrester-Marone line that has been missing for a long time. I see Dylan as a ghost of the past coming back to haunt the kids. She's the physical version of all the secrets these families try to hide under their expensive clothes and fancy awards. And what about the mother? If she really is a character we know, why hasn't she shown up in person yet? My guess is that she's waiting for Dylan to get a ring on her finger first. She's like a director backstage and Dylan is just her star actress. Whoever this woman is, she's bitter. She's someone the elite crowd threw away, and now she's using her daughter to get back to the table. It's actually kind of sad if you think about it from Dylan's side. Does she really love Will? Or has she just been told her whole life that the only way to matter is to take something from people like him? When she said she was relieved to tell the truth, I think she was just happy to see that her act was still working. I have to say, I really disagree with the advice Bill is giving Will. He's telling him to look elsewhere for love like it's that simple. Bill is a smart guy, but he's also way too arrogant. He thinks he can just point his son in a new direction and everything will be fine. He has no clue that the elsewhere he's talking about is a girl who could destroy his entire company. Bill is so focused on the drama with Electra that he is completely blind to the danger Dylan represents. It's the classic mistake he always makes, underestimating the person who has nothing left to lose. Dylan has been sleeping in a car. She knows how to fight for what she wants. Electra has the Forrester name, but Dylan has survival skills, and in a soap opera, the survivor usually wins the first round. If you look at the psychology, Dylan is doing something very specific. She's using emotional labor to get what she wants. She stays late, she handles the guest lists, she shares takeout, and she listens to every single one of Will's problems. This isn't just being nice. It's a calculated plan to make herself someone he can't live without. She's built a world where he thinks he needs her kindness to survive. This makes it even scarier for when the mother finally arrives. By the time she shows up, Will is going to be so hooked that he won't be able to kick her out, no matter what her name is. I'm really looking forward to the big face-off between Katie and Dylan. That is going to be the moment everything changes. Katie is going to ask the tough questions. She's going to want a name, a hometown, a real history. And when Dylan starts acting shaky, Katie is going to start digging. I predict that by the end of the week, Katie is going to find something. A photo, a letter, maybe even an old piece of jewelry that proves Dylan's mother is someone Liam knew very, very well. The fallout from that is going to tear the Spencer brothers apart. Will is going to think Liam is just trying to ruin his life, and Liam is going to be terrified that his past is repeating itself in the worst way possible. What do you guys think? If Dylan's mom really is one of Liam's exes, who would be the most shocking choice? Would it be Amber coming back for one last revenge plot? Or maybe a woman we haven't seen in a decade who's been raising a secret Spencer in the shadows? And do you think Will is being a total wimp for not choosing a side between Electra and Dylan? It feels like he's just waiting for the universe to decide for him, which is exactly what Liam does. Honestly, the impasse between Will and Electra was inevitable the moment Dylan started performing ballet for him in the design office. You can't have that kind of harmless connection without someone getting burned. And let's not forget about Bill. He's telling Will to look elsewhere for love. Bill Spencer, the man who's hurt more people than anyone, is giving relationship advice. He wants Will to move on from Electra, but little does he know that elsewhere is a girl who might be carrying a secret that could blow his own family apart. If Dylan is related to someone Bill dated too, we're talking about a level of awkwardness that even a Spencer Beach house can't contain. Every time Bill tries to control his son's lives, it blows up in his face. Why would this time be any different? I really want to know your theories on Dylan's mother. Does she have an axe to grind with Liam? Or is she just a woman who made a mistake and is trying to live through her daughter? Either way, the intense encounter between Katie and Dylan on Wednesday is going to be must-see TV. Katie isn't going to play nice, and Dylan is running out of lies to tell. When the truth finally comes out, Will stand by his hero complex? Or will he realize he's been played by a pro? And how is Liam going to explain this one to Hope? Hey honey, remember that girl my brother is dating? Yeah, her mom and I used to be a thing. It's going to be glorious chaos, and I am here for every single second of it. Before we wrap this up, think about the pressure on Dylan. She feels relieved that she doesn't have to lie to Will anymore. But the biggest lie is still standing. She still hasn't told anyone who she really is. She's basking in Will's protection, but that protection is built on a house of cards. When Electra finally attempts to move on Tuesday, is she really done with Will? Or is she just gathering her strength to expose Dylan once and for all? My money is on a Forrester never giving up without a fight. This impasse is just the beginning of a war. So make sure you don't miss a single episode this week. We've got Monaco, we've got medical drama with Carter and Daphne, and we've got the Dylan mystery hitting a fever pitch. It is going to be a wild ride. If you like this deep dive into the latest spoilers, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. Give us a like and jump into the comments to tell us who you think Dylan's mother is. Is she a hero, a villain, or just another one of Liam's mistakes? Let's get the debate started. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll see you in the next one for more bold and the beautiful updates. Stay bold, fans.